Hi, my name's Kelly Gliner. Welcome to my home studio for CCAC Makes at Home. Today we will be making some cute little birds out of some materials that you may have around your house. I started with a box, so you can see the back of my bird has some packaging on it because it's cut from a cardboard box. And then I also have a paperboard box that you might have that has cereal in it. Those are good places to start. I have some materials like some scrap fabric. You may have some of that at home. That's what I used on my bird here. I have some scrap pieces of tissue paper and construction paper and origami paper. And this happens to be a bag from a store. So I saved it because I really liked the pattern on it. We also have our glue, some tape. I have pipe cleaners and scissors and a marker. So I will show you how to start. So the first thing that you'll do is draw your bird shape. Now, if you look, it's kind of like a teardrop. So I'm going to just go ahead and make that shape on my board like that. So it looks like a teardrop or a drop of water. And then if you want, you can go ahead and give your bird a beak. I may add just a little bit of room back here for feathers. But that's the shape I'm going to cut out. So then, and I used my Sharpie marker just in case you wanted to write on the shinier side. But I've used a marker too, so that you could really see those lines. So then you'll take your scissors. And one of the things I like to tell kids when we're cutting, it doesn't matter what your scraps look like. So you can even just go in from anywhere you want to start and just go to those edges. And see, look, I'm going to cut around because that makes it easier. I'll put that away for another project. And then I'll go ahead and cut on my lines. Save my scraps. Now, why is Miss Kelly using so many scraps and so many found objects? Well, one, I think that's a nice thing to do, a good way to use objects around your house to make art. But Earth Day is this week, and I thought this would be a nice little project for Earth Day. Plus, we're making a cute little critter from the earth. So then I'm going to take some of the pieces here, trying to decide on this one. I use the scrap fabric for the background, but I might use some, I think I'm going to use this blue tissue paper and cover up that whole bird. So here's how you do that. You take your glue stick, or you can use glue, like a bottle of glue and a brush. And I'm just going to put glue all over it. Nope, I don't want that to stick. Not yet, at least. And then I think I will use this fun pattern paper and then just stick it right to the bird. Just like that. And you know what that means. I'm going to have to cut around it again. And that's okay. Now, if you don't save pieces of paper and little scraps of fabric like I do, you could just use construction paper. Or you could do a little walk around your house and see what you can find. Like always, before you use something, make sure your parents say that's okay. Or if you wanted to, for fabric, if you have some clothes you've outgrown or something that has a hole in it that you may not use again, that's a good way to use that fabric too. All right, so now I have my bird. That's all stuck on there with this cute pattern. And then I'm thinking I'd like to do something fun for those wings. So I'm just going to get really, really funky with patterns and use some of this. So I'm going to make another shape for my wing. I think I'll just make it kind of like a football shape. A pretty simple wing, because sometimes cutting fabric can be a little tricky. This is going to be wild. There we go. There's my wing on my bird. And then I'm just going to add glue in that general area because our glue sticks dry clear. And then I could put that right there. What do we think? That is a little wild and I like it. Okay, and then on this one, I added some little tail feathers because I thought that was pretty cute too. So I might do that on this one, just for some contrast. And how I did that is I just cut little pieces. Of course, if you don't want to cut teeny tiny pieces, you can always make your birds bigger. There we go. And I'm going to put that right here on the tail. That's pretty fun. And then I will use some, I used yellow for the beak here. I might do something a little different. I have this black fabric. So I'll just cut a little triangle of black fabric. And this bird can have a black beak. I didn't cut that quite right, but I can always go back with my scissors and trim that up. No big deal. All right. So for an eye, it's stuck to me. I think I might use the black around the eye as well. So cut a little circle of that black. You can always just use your marker too. But I'm really enjoying cutting these little pieces of fabric. And then I'll put that there. And then I could use a little piece of maybe some white scrap to add to that eye as well. And I'm just going to keep cutting the corners off to make it round. It's so teeny tiny. If you have a hole puncher, that's a good use for that. But again, I'm just going to put some glue on there, enough to make that stick. And I think it needs a little feather up top here too. Just for a fun little tuft. Like a funny bird eyebrow. Uh-oh. So there we are. And you can continue adding little pieces of paper or fabric scraps, or if you have scraps of yarn, those would be nice for little lines inside of the wings. That yarn's a little tricky to work with, but you know, if you're feeling up to it, go for it. Maybe I'll use some of this pink to make a little line inside my wing, and maybe I won't make them as intricate as those teeny tiny ones that I did here. That took quite a while. Maybe I'll just put one of those there. Nope, gotta open my glue. That is a lot of pattern. That's a little wild and I like it. Okay, so to put the legs on, I have some pipe cleaners, and I use super fuzzy pipe cleaners on this. I don't think I really love the way that looks, so this time I'm going to use a regular pipe cleaner. And here's my favorite trick. So cutting pipe cleaners can be difficult because you need a very sharp pair of scissors, or if you use the middle of your scissors to cut the pipe cleaner, you can either have a friend hold it like this for you, or a grown-up, or you can just make sure your fingers are far apart and just go in the middle. It cuts pretty easily. So I'm going to cut two that are the same with my pipe cleaner and my scissors. And then I'm going to flip my bird over. There's some cereal on the back there. And tape the legs on. So when you're using tape, I didn't have any regular masking tape or duct tape handy. I'm just using this decorative washi tape. So when you use this tape, especially, you really want to maybe even take a pair of scissors and rub so it stays on, because I already lost the legs on this one once. So really rub that down. And I'm going to flip it back over so it doesn't get stuck to my paper. And if you want, you can twist up or bend those pipe cleaner legs up to make it look like little feet. And there is my second little bird. I think I will go back and trim his beak a little, or her beak, their beak. And there we are. 2 cute little birds made from some boxes, some scraps, a little bit of pipe cleaner, and just a lot of fun. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a great week. We'll see you next week for CCAC Makes at Home.